Hey guys! So, of course, being the failure that I am, I got distracted as soon as I finished my last stream, and something interesting was recommended to me in my YouTube feed, whatever, and I just had to click on it. And I have posted the link in the description of the video that pretty much inspired this. And I guess what is forcing me to do the stream is that in the last stream that I just finished, some of you guys were sitting there discussing back and forth morals and stuff when it comes to animals. And then it reminded me of something that I've been wanting to talk about, but I just don't know how to address it, which is veganism. And a lot of people think that I am vegan. And I have made videos about how very not vegan I am. And you guys have seen me eat and whatnot. And I have no shame about talking about how much I love to eat meat. So, anyways, if you're interested, you should look it up. It's called Do I Eat Meat? That's what I called it. But anyways, and basically in the link that I posted in the description, there's this lady who calls herself a professor, and she is talking to this one Fox News anchor, and yeah, basically the conversation turned into right versus wrong when it comes to eating animals, and how that's supposed to be bad. It's a abomination for nature or whatever. And then all I could hear in my mind was, why do vegan people present themselves like they are correct, like they are never wrong, like they are the ones who are going to save the world from destruction, like they have the solution to everything, like they can do no wrong, and that they are the ones who exercise morals. Like, no, you still mess things up in life, period. And the part that disturbed me was that this lady calls herself a vegan. And I believe that if my listening skills do not betray me, she said that she is guilty of not being 100% perfect and careful herself because she likes to eat a lot of cheese. If you like to eat cheese, you have to call yourself at least vegetarian because cheese is animal product. And then you're sitting there trying to shit on the guy who's totally trolling you by eating a steak in front of you, and you either fail to recognize that he's totally like just embarrassing you, or you just know how to keep your composure. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Basically, I'm not really going to dive into this in detail when it comes to my opinion just yet. But how do you guys feel about that? Do you guys have specific diets? Do you think that eating animals is wrong? But then again, if this is an issue of morals because you're trying to respect living beings, plants are alive, we eat them. Basically, we eat anything, and there's some stuff that we shouldn't consume because humans simply do not digest it as well, or it doesn't have the same effect on us as other animals. Like, for some people, they feel the difference when they go on a completely animal free diet, and I myself have experienced that. Like, I have greatly reduced the amount of meat that I eat because I'm replacing it with protein shakes. Honestly, because I hate dishes and I don't have the time to cook every day. So I take a load of protein shakes, and honestly, it's a less risky way to consume protein because sometimes I have made the mistake of being in a hurry and I'm just not paying attention, and I end up eating something that's bad because I either didn't let it cook long enough, or I did and then let it sit on the counter for too long before I got to it. And basically, I feel better when it comes to my stomach than ever before. But when it comes to vegans trying to present themselves like they are perfect and they are not hurting the environment, no. If you're still driving a car, you're hurting the environment. If you're using electricity at your house, you're hurting the environment. If you're taking a shower anywhere, at home or at the gym, whatever, which I hope you are, you're hurting the environment. So you are condemned to do damage to the planet. So you cannot sit there and try to act like you're an advocate for morals when you're failing yourself. So, anyways, I guess I should do a separate stream on this because I'm kind of on the go now. But I just had to get this out of my system, and I had to post about it because I'm just eager to hear what you guys have to say. Veganism is a tricky subject. If you eat cheese, you ain't vegan by the way. You could argue that everyone going vegan would cause a change in the ecosystem that would make other animals suffer and die. Can you stand up so I see the design of your Under Armour sports bra cup top? Uh, no, this is not a fashion video, at least for now. Or, well, this is not a fashion video at all. Buddhist monks have an interesting view on this topic. I guess I should look at that because I haven't looked at that. I mean, there's pescatarians, yep, who eat fish, who are vegetarian but apart from fish, so maybe there's a word for vegan apart from cheese. Who knows? Well, I believe that it's supposed to be vegetarian because um, when you are vegetarian, you eat eggs still and cheese, but for some reason you do not. I don't fucking know. It's so hard to explain something that you don't practice. And honestly, I like to be ignorant on that matter because I'll just eat whatever, but at the same time, I'm inconsiderate to those who have these diets and medical restrictions as well. But but from what I understand, vegetarians can have certain animal products, but I guess not the animal itself all fleshed out. You know what I mean? Because, like, you can have eggs, but it's not because the chicken developed and you're eating its flesh. And then you can eat cheese because it's the ex like a secretion by the animal, but it's not the animal itself. I'm because now I'm trying to think of the definition of vegetarian. But I mean, who knows? Seriously, who knows? Then there's, of course, omnivores. Are we truly omnivores? I mean, I guess we are because we pretty much all eat a little bit of everything. But by default, are humans supposed to be vegan? Because I keep hearing that it used to be that we would rely on berries and whatnot, and that because of our teeth, we're supposed to not eat meat because we don't have like the kind to tear through raw animals while we're roaming out in the fields or something. Have you guys heard that? Or am I making that up? I'm sure I'm not making that up. I'm not that creative. But vegetarians are just reasonable vegans. You know what? Cool. That is so cool. That's how I am going to define vegetarians from now on. Because honestly, back in the day when I was a little girl, all I ever heard about was being vegetarian or being regular. What do you call that? I don't want to say omnivorous, but anyways, I don't know. You guys help me. Just throw a lifesaver at me, please. Humans evolved to survive on basically whatever we could, I think. Well, to some extent, because I guess what happened is we learned how to make foods that would otherwise be toxic for us be non toxic by cooking it. Like, we cannot have raw meat without running the risk of foodborne illnesses. But if we cook it well enough, we can turn something that's not consumable into something consumable. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. But yeah, I really loved reading that vegetarians are just reasonable vegans. I have vegan friends and they're very reasonable about it, though they have tried to convert me. But if someone acted all high and mighty because of it, I might be tempted to troll them. Please do, because after watching that one video that I put in the description, I feel like that's what I want to do to vegans now. Because I guess, I guess maybe because I talk about animals so much and how much I like them, maybe people assume that I am vegan. And then for some reason, being vegan is associated with having a slimmer figure. And I'm like, stop it right there because I know vegans who are kind of large in the physique department. And I'm like, isn't that hypocritical? Because how are you getting so big if you're not using animal products? But then again, maybe their carb intake exceeds their protein intake. That's one thing that I can think of that would put you in the danger zone. Or maybe have too much sweets and then your body is just not breaking down stuff like it needs to. I don't know. This is tripping me by more by the second. Let's see. Okay, well, I guess that humans are well makes you anything. But yeah, I remember watching this one video that was discussing how we're supposed to be eating more stuff that we can actually just snag out of a tree already, like fruits, veggies. It makes sense because I'm not gonna sit here and lie. When I have had like diets that got rid of animal product, I felt better, and it's not because I was trying to have like a healthy label on me or whatever. It's just that it was convenient. I didn't have the time, and it just so happens to line up with it being a plant-based diet. But I'm still going to eat meat. I intend to eat meat forever. Like even if when I turn 50 or so, the doctor says I need to reduce my intake of cholesterol or something, I'm still gonna find a way around it. I'm not going to give that up. It's not how I was brought up anyway. There are some decent vegans. They tend to be few and far between. Most of them are very preachy. Vegans tend to be much better. All things in moderation is a good way to go. I agree. Yeah, definitely. That's really how I maintain myself. I don't go around eating like a whole cake when it's in front of me. I just limit it tiny bite at a time. And when it comes to meat and all that, I want to say that I do maybe a quarter of what I need in a day, and then the rest supplemented with protein shakes along with other sources of protein that do not necessarily come from meat like that. So, yeah, I think it's all about knowing what you're eating. Like, there's stuff that you wouldn't consider that's sweet because you don't associate it with being sugary. Like people think that you can eat fruits unlimited because the sugars in it, like fruits are healthy, so the sugars in it are not as harmful. The difference is that the sugar in fruits is not the same as the artificial stuff or the added sugars that we put on other things like cane sugar and whatnot. That's different. So basically, if you can avoid processed foods, you're going to be pretty good. And I think that's what helps me personally a lot. Because let me tell you, when I was younger, I used to eat a lot of processed foods. It was cheap, it was all we could afford. And I saw it in my pictures. I was gaining weight. But now that I actually have control and a way to access better foods by having a job, then, I'm more careful about that. But I'm not sitting here acting like what works for me works for everyone else. I know that in the past I have given people who try to normalize an unhealthy look, that's the title of the video, like I've been giving them kind of a hard time, but I know my body. I know what works for it. And I have taken the time to get to know about foods as well. So for some people, you just need to determine independently what works for you and what doesn't. Because, for instance, my calorie intake cannot be compared to a guy's, for example, especially if this guy is also athletic like me. You'll definitely surpass me in the calorie department. So, it's something that just because I eat some stuff in excess doesn't mean that your body is going to handle it just as well, especially if you live a sedentary life. And it also boils down to genetics as well. So, anyway. Oh, let's see. The issue with sugar is that the stuff we buy is refined sucrose and tends to be used in greater concentrations than the fructose that is present in fruits. Yep, exactly. Like the added stuff and heavily processed, all of that bad stuff. Yeah. But anyways, you guys, I think I got that out of my system, what I needed to get out of my system. You guys had great inputs. So I'm going to be wrapping this up now. Fruit juice must be avoided. Oh my god, yes, because that stuff is usually more sugar than anything. Like when you look at the nutritional value, it's not even worth it. There's some stuff that claims to have high vitamin C, but I'm like, for the amount of sugar that I'll also be consuming is just it's just crazy. It's crazy. If you want to have the benefits of a food, how about if you actually eat directly from the food and not something that's put in a container or in a can? I know that it's convenient, it's time saving, but seriously, eat the fruit as opposed to the processed version. You'll do your body some favors and it'll be thanking you as well. And drink water, which is something I've been doing so terrible at. Anyways, guys, I gotta go now. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you soon.